Hey guys, it's appleminte. Welcome back again to my channel. So you might be thinking, hey, you're wearing the same outfit as you were last week, and you're sitting in the same spot. If you're watching this right now, I'm at Otakon in Washington, DC, so I'm not around right now. This is future me. Well, this is past me to future me. Anyway, this is a topic that I've gotten a lot of requests for, and that is how to find your art style. There's a lot of questions surrounding it, so I will get into all of that in today's video, and let's just get right into it. Alright, so before I begin today's video topic, I just want to let you guys know a little bit about what I'm drawing in today's video as I do my voiceover. This is a piece of artwork that I did very recently in my iPad on Procreate, and it actually came to me from when I was very art blocked, didn't know what to draw. Went on social media, browsed around a bit, and saw a lot of pictures of plants, so I kind of looked up more plants after that because I was drawn toward it. And I settled on the theme of mushrooms and fairies, and I wanted to make a little mushroom grotto with a fairy in the middle and just kind of add a bunch of details to that. The main thing for me with this piece of artwork was to practice backgrounds a little bit more and different effects and environments. So that was my goal here, and I'm pretty happy with the way the piece turned out overall. So as you watch this video, I hope you enjoy the drawing, and I also hope that the tips I'm about to give help you in some way. That is how to find your style. But before I go into that, I'm just going to give a quick disclaimer that finding your style is definitely not something that is you necessarily need to do. Sometimes it just happens over time, so and it's not something you should put a ton of pressure on. And a lot of people also say and make the comment that you can't copyright a style, which no, you can't copyright a style, but you definitely don't want to just outright copy somebody, because in general it just feels a little bit less genuine, at least in my opinion. It feels a little bit more like, you know, you copy everything somebody else does, it doesn't feel as unique to yourself. You know, you're always gonna look like, you can draw whatever way you want, totally, but this is about finding your own style, so I'm not really going to touch on like copying other people's styles / artworks. I'm not going to go into any of that, so just wanted to give those two quick notes before I begin really talking about all of this. But first, you know, what is style? It's not just the eyes. For me, in general, when I used to think about style, I always think, okay, the art style comes from the eyes, and I mean, maybe that's just a me thing, but that was something I always thought back in the day. And I've realized over time that it does not come just from that. It can come from pretty much any way that a person draws specific things, whether it's, you know, the thickness of the lines that they use, or the ways that they color things, or, you know, whatever it may be. Maybe they have really curvy bodies that they draw with like really springy lines, or they use very rigid lines. It could be anything. So, not limited just to the face, but I just wanted to point that out because, you know, a lot of people will narrow it down to like one or two things, but style can really encompass anything about a way a person draws. So I'm going to break these into 5 tips, but I mean, it's really one big conversation, but this is just to make it a little bit easier to understand. So tip number 1, where to start, is to find what you like to draw. For me, you guys know I love drawing people. I like mainly drawing girls, and it can be any, you know, variety of things. Cute things, animal things, cool things, whatever. Whatever topic I'm feeling like drawing at the time is what I'll draw. But, you know, you could, you know, gravitate toward anything. Might be animals, might be scenery, might be landscapes, might be people, might be a combination of everything. So figure out what you like to draw, because that is definitely a good place to start. And it doesn't need to just be about the subject of what you're drawing. It can also be about the types of things that you put into your artwork, or the themes that you tend to draw around, whether it's like really a lot of pops of color or really pastel type drawings, or you like really cutesy drawings. You know, you might want to focus on stuff like that. So figure out what you like to draw, and that is a really good place to start when honing your skill and figuring out where you should go from there, which leads me into tip number 2, which is practice drawing from life. While learning from other people and other artists is a good place to to start sometimes, like different post tutorials and things like that, or how to do certain things and certain skills. Definitely don't forget about drawing from life, whether it's finding a bunch of reference pictures of people online or in real life, taking photos of different things. Drawing from life will give you the proportions of things in the real world, and then you can take those proportions, or you can take that basic knowledge and understanding of the way that the world looks or the way that the world works and moves, and then turn it into something a little bit more your own, put your own spin on it, if that makes sense. A lot of people have the misconception that if somebody's drawing something completely anatomically incorrectly, for example, super unproportional and all that, you can tell that this is not the way a person's body bends or moves, or this is not where things go. Rarely it's a stylistic choice, but a lot of people will say, it's their style, but at the same time, it's very, very, very common or very possible to have an art style and have it be extremely stylized. You look at a lot of different cartoons and things like that, or different anime characters and stuff, and it's very, very common to have a super stylized character, but they're still proportionate the way a person is drawn, or, not just people, but other things in general. But having a style doesn't excuse you from drawing incorrectly necessarily, and that's not to say people can't draw how they want. This is not to start a debate on that, but it's always important to learn the basics and things like that from drawing from life and everything, and then taking that understanding and knowledge of anatomy or whatever it might be and turning it into your own thing, putting your own twist on it. Number 3 is find the things that you want to focus on within your artwork, or find things that you would like to improve. So, for example, for me, over the years, my style has changed a lot as I've grown as an artist, and as I've figured out how I like to draw certain things. I've changed certain things and ditched certain things I didn't like, whether it be, the old way I used to draw faces, or maybe the way I used to draw bodies and legs and things like that didn't look as anatomically correct, and I didn't like it. I would scrap that, and I would try to focus on, I'm going to learn how to draw the curves of a girl's legs today, because, they're not just sticks that go straight down, they have curves to them, and you have to know how they'll look from different angles, for example. And so I would focus on that, figure out how it's drawn, look at a bunch of tutorials or pictures of people, and then I can stylize it based on how I like to draw it, but still having that understanding of the anatomy of it or how it works. All of these tips I'm giving, they all work and play into each other, so you might hear me reiterate them sometimes as I'm going on, but definitely find things about your artwork or things that you're drawing that you feel like you want to improve, and as you go, you'll figure out what you do like to draw, or how you like to draw it and how you don't like to draw it, and it'll start to morph into something that is unique to you and the way you like to do it. So that's definitely another big one on how to really hone your craft and figure out how you like to draw it, making your style unique. Tip number 4 might be something that's straightforward. If people can look at your artwork basically and say, hey, that's so-and-so's work, they know just by looking at it, I think that's a pretty good sign that you're going somewhere with your artwork or your style. You made some progress, you've been drawing for a while, and now people are seeing a consistency in the way that you draw. That consistency that's unique to you is very much your style. So the recognizability is definitely, I guess, a milestone when you're drawing, to say, hey, I noticed this as your art style or as your artwork. That's a good sign. And tip number 5 is, I guess in my mind, the most important one, which is take your time. There is no rush on this whole thing. A lot of people worry about having their own art style, or they worry, hey, I draw, this way, but I'm afraid it's too similar to this person's, or I'm afraid that people don't know it's mine. There's no pressure, there's no rush. It'll happen over time. I've been drawing for a very long time now, over 10 to 15 years, on practicing people and things like that. I mean, very casually at first, but then I realized that I really liked drawing people and wanted to keep practicing it. And it's been a slow improvement, but definitely I've seen a lot of improvement in my work. And over time, I've figured out what I do like to draw and how I like to draw it and how I don't. And it's come to where I am now. And I definitely do think I still have improving and things I want to work on. Obviously, there's things I want to learn how to draw, I also have certain ways that I draw now that, you know, I'm not extremely happy with. I want to change a little bit, and there's nothing stopping me from doing that. I can practice tweaking them a little and figuring out how it makes me feel comfortable to draw. I really think that's the main takeaway from this whole thing is like, when you find your style, you'll know because it is comfortable to you. It'll feel like you're not constantly looking at how somebody else would do it. You're looking at how you would do it. When you sit down naturally to draw, how is it that you're gonna do it when you put your pencil down to the paper? Styles can always change over time. They don't last the same way forever because artists are always improving as long as you're practicing, and so that's why there's no rush for this, and it will come naturally with practice. So I hope all 5 of my tips and my conversation throughout all of this is helpful to you guys in some way. Definitely let me know in the comments below if there's any other things that I didn't touch on that maybe you have some questions about, or if you're confused about the way I said certain things. I know I said a lot of words, and this is like a 12-minute voiceover as I look down at my recording software, so definitely comment below and let me know if you have any questions on what I said. Again, style is a touchy subject sometimes, and I'm not trying to start controversy. This is just my 2 cents and how I look at it. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and if this was helpful to you, definitely let me know. So now on to my final thoughts. Anyway, thank you guys for watching today's video. I hope my tips were helpful to you in some way. And if you have any more questions or any comments on some of the tips that I gave, definitely write them in the comment section below. I'll try to answer as many as I can. Or if you see an answer or a question down there that you want upvoted, or you also have the same answer / question to, definitely upvote it so that, you know, other people can see it and I can see it more easily and answer that question more easily. Anyways, always all my links are in the description box below. I have a link to my online shop where you can find all my pins, prints, charms, all that stuff. Also have the link to my Instagram where you can follow me to see all of my day-to-day artwork and things that I don't always post here on the channel. Anyway, I hope you guys all have an amazing weekend. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you all next week. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.